Does anybody else refuse to turn the light on in your office? Because as soon as you do, that's when the chaos starts. So I get here and I just leave the light off until somebody comes in and they're like, why is the light off in here? And I'm like, and so it begins.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Y'all, it's official. Trump and his shenanigans have affected me. So I am a federal employee, and y'all know he signed an order like 2-3 weeks ago saying all federal employees must go back to the office. Now, at first we was kind of like trying to see would it affect us because I'm contracted. But basically, I only go to the office 2 days a week. Well, now I have to go 5 days. And that just affects my life a lot. Let's not even, for one, gas. I don't use that much. I do work 2 jobs. So my other job is like 2 miles from my house. Only going to the office 2 days a week was helpful. I spent less in gas. And then my wardrobe, I got to buy more clothes now. Food, I have to spend money on lunch. It's just like, etc., etc. I'm very annoyed. But I'm just really annoyed. And my boyfriend, like, I go visit him and stuff, and I could work from home because he's out of town, so I would work from, like, I'm just so annoyed. Now I have to use time to do things that I would do, like, enough of all that. And it's really just me being a brat, I know that, but the thing is, when you got a taste of the good life, you don't want to go back. That's just like, to me, that's just like decreasing my salary. Because, like, I got a taste of something good. Why would I want to go to something different? But yeah, I'm really annoyed. I really want to cry. Like, I'm a spoiled brat. I'm a crybaby. I want to sit in my car and cry.
For you federal workers that are having to return back to office, I hear you, I understand, and I definitely feel your pain. I'm not a federal worker, but I did have to return to office in 2022. That's just how long I have been back in the office. Now, initially, whenever we returned to the office, it was definitely a struggle for me too. And here it is, 2025, and it is still a struggle. Now, when I returned back to the office, we were back in the office full time for about maybe, I would say, a month. And they did finally allow us to start working hybrid. So we work in the office Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then we get to work from home on Thursdays and Fridays. Now, the thing with working from home, I feel like I do actually get more work done. I notice that whenever I'm in the office, I seem to get less work done because we spend more time talking and laughing and just, chit-chatting, right? Ha ha, he, right? But we do love the fact that we are still able to work from home on Thursdays and Fridays. And we actually really, really look forward to being able to work from home on Thursdays and Fridays. So just hang in there, guys. Hopefully things will change up pretty soon and you guys will be able to start back working from home, maybe even hybrid, because I know a lot of you were probably hybrid just like we were, but just hang in there. I know it's hard. Like I said, I really appreciate being able to just have those 2 days. But again, I feel you, I hear you, and I definitely understand.
So I've been a work from home employee since 2009. I work in the private industry. The company I work for, I never even saw an office. When I onboarded, it was in one state. The company is in one state, I'm in another state. Never had the conversation about, returning to the office because I was hired on as a permanent and work from home employee. However, with all the conversations that's being had lately, especially with the federal workforce, I can't help but to feel like this opportunity can be taken away. Hired on, never had the conversation except outside of the employees who used to work in the office during COVID. They did do a mandate for that. But now I'm thinking everybody's jumping back on board with this return to office. Can I be next? Am I the only one who feels this way? A permanent work from home employee who hasn't been in an office in God knows how long, feeling uneasy about the possibility of being back in an office. If I ever have to do that, I am going to be the most insufferable individual in that office. Just the thought of waking up, putting on clothes, sitting in traffic, because where I live at is traffic every hour on the hour, and listening to idle chit chat just to wake up and do it the next day. I can't imagine. I don't even no.
So I went to work yesterday. Everything was fine. Of course, I had a bunch of emails from people wondering where I was, even though I did set my Outlook to out of the office, but people didn't seem to care about that. They still decided that they needed to call me a million times on Teams. It's amazing when you realize how often people message you or email you if you don't respond immediately. and then you go back to work and you have like, from one person alone, it's like 50 emails. Well, it's not literally, it's more like 15, but still, that's a lot. So I went back to work, and the reason why I went back is, one, I'm not in my 20s anymore, so the whole idea of just like jumping and quitting a job is not for me anymore. I have things planned out. I also have benefits, and I now understand why people who have pensions and things like that you don't just quit. That's like not a thing, because you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And I never saw myself here, and I kind of had that realization, like, oh, you've been here for a while. You at least need to complete the year in order to get all of your benefits. I do think in the future I will probably apply to take some leave, which is funny that a bunch of people in my comment section said you should FMLA, you should try to take that. And guess what's happening tomorrow at work? They're doing, like, my office does this thing where they have an information day where you just go around and you gain information to help you with your position, or just help you with getting paperwork and making sure people are signing up for all of the benefits and things like that, which is, I think, is a great thing that companies should do. Mine has one, and one of the seminars is us signing up on how to use your ADA or how to use your FMLA and all those leaves. So I was like, good thing I'm going back to work, because I need to know that. Yeah.
The jig is up. The jig is up, okay? We have now been back in the office a couple of days a week for a couple of months now. I think in general, I attempt to make it to the office a couple of days a week, unless I just like have other things going on, like traveling for work. We have a couple of weeks of like work from anywhere, also PTO and sick leave. So in the last couple of months, I've had a lot of all of those things, and so I haven't been in the office 3 days a week. I just got an email that says, hey girl, you haven't been in the office. You haven't been in the office 3 days a week, even though we open these things back up. What's going on? Like, talk to your manager. And I feel like someone just read my diary. I feel invaded on, because you shouldn't know that information. And if you do know that, you should know I got things going on, okay? I have extenuating circumstances. Don't come at me.
Some of y'all choose the weirdest things to be up in arms about. Like, why are you complaining about people not wanting to go back into the office after working remotely for several years? Like, that's what we're mad about? That's the hill we're gonna die on? And I can't stand being around people who are like, I suffered, so you should suffer too. I always had to go into the office 5 days out of the week, so you should too. That's not fair. It's 2025, and we've discovered that, hey, you don't have to be in the office for 8 hours 5 days out of the week to get your job done. Why does that kill y'all? Questions that need answers. Comment down below why some of y'all are so mad that people are against returning back into the office. I need to know, because it doesn't make sense to me. We have so many other things to worry about, and this is the hill that y'all want to die on.
I never knew that so many regular working class people, and I'm only saying regular because I'm trying to distinguish you all from government workers, because you guys have put us up on such a high pedestal. Clearly we are esteemed and looked at as better than you guys. So you regular working people, I never knew that you had such hatred in your hearts and such disdain and envy and jealousy over us esteemed federal workers. I never knew that. You know, I never knew that the fact that we stayed out of the way, we worked from home, or you know, worked some days in the office and some days at home. I never knew that that was a source of contention for you. I never knew that it bothered your souls to know that we were afforded such opportunities. I never knew that you guys thought that each and every president that was before Trump allowed us to stay at home all these years, because remember, Trump was in office before too, so he was one of those presidents, and do absolutely nothing. I never knew that. I never knew you guys felt like the government ran the way that it ran by robots, because clearly it wasn't us human people, because we didn't do anything while we were at home and you were slaving at work at Walmart or wherever you work. Nothing wrong with Walmart, but clearly the way you guys think, we got it so much better and you hate it. I had all these people under the last video that I wrote talking about, oh, you guys needed to do this and welcome back and all this stuff. Like, did that hurt your pockets because we were working at home? Did it stop your bag? I don't know. I would think that if you felt like we had it just so great, you would actually try to be an esteemed federal worker instead of a regular worker. Yeah. And once again, I'm only saying those things because I'm going to have a lot of people that don't comprehend very well. So I'm going to try to say it in ABC terms. I'm using the word regular because you guys act as if that's what you are, regular. Because we have all these privileges, so we're esteemed and we look like we're better than you guys. Apparently we are, because that's how y'all act. Every time I see somebody talking about welcome back, every time I see somebody saying y'all should have been back in the office, that makes me feel like I am upper echelon and you are regular. Clearly, you must feel regular to have that much envy that has nothing to do with you and affect your life in any way. Clearly, that's regular behavior.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Did you guys hear what happened at a DC naval yard yesterday? 17,000 federal workers returned to work as instructed, only to be subjected to even more chaos because there were only 4,000 parking spots. So a federal judge has already placed a stay on this deferred resignation program. So everything's on hold right now. But in the meantime, this is what they're dealing with. And I don't know about you guys, but I always live by the motto, right is right and wrong is wrong. And we all know, I mean, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, you guys know that how they're being treated is wrong. I mean, to me, this is how it looks to me, you guys, is that all of a sudden the federal workers get an email, and the gist of the email is, here, resign or we're going to make your lives miserable. And that's exactly how this thing is playing out. There's no execution. There's no plan. It's like a bull in a china shop. And they have rights. I'm going to go back to that. Federal employees, hang in there, y'all. Don't you leave these jobs. If they want you out, make them put you out. And then to add insult to injury, you know, you have these hating keyboard warriors all up in the comments on their videos talking about, oh, then you just leave then. You have good benefits. You don't work. They don't work. I mean, really, y'all? So that means y'all been hating all along. So if you're a federal worker, yeah, it's difficult now, but don't you walk away from your position, okay? You have rights, especially if you're unionized, and especially if you've been with the government for many, many years. Don't let anybody come in here and bully you out of something that you've earned. All right, love y'all, bye.
So we have officially received our return to the office. You know, we'll be back in the office full time for the organization that I work for with the Army. And when I tell you, everybody's just like, okay. Like, I don't know what people expected, like what they expect, how they expected people to react. Because everybody, like, if you are a federal employee, we just like, okay. Like, you just taking it in stride. Like, it's like, whatever. And I don't think that that's the administration's plan. Like, I think they expected more people to react out of, like, you know, emotion and resign. I think they said only 1% resigned, and they expected at least 5 to 10%. So yeah, us federal employees are just like, okay, we're going to work. It's another day. We'll deal with it and keep on pushing.
Well, today was the worst day of my life. I got back to work. It was the first day from my work from home job. I went back to the office. I got sent home because I was wearing this shirt. I thought I was trying to be funny. They didn't think it was funny. It's like, are you guys serious? So now I can't even be funny on my first day back? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back anymore. I'm going to bring my monitor every single day to the office. I'm hauling it in because they don't have an extra one for me. I'm just really disappointed. What kind of crap is this? Anyways, we'll see. Tomorrow, I think I'm just going to call in sick. Because, nah, I don't like this stuff. And I deserve to work from home. Because I've been doing it for years. And I've been doing just fine. So, I'll update you guys tomorrow on what happens.
I don't mean to sound insensitive, but can somebody please help me understand what the general outrage about federal employees going back to work in the office is? A lot of the commentary and discord that I'm seeing has to do with disabled people having a difficulty going into work. But what I wonder is, where did those people work before COVID? Were those same people already working in these particular departments required to come into work before COVID regulations kicked in? Like, I understand that we all got very comfortable with our work from home jobs, but if you weren't already working in a work from home position prior to COVID, did you not expect it to ever go back to normal? Were we really just banking collectively on the new normal that COVID created? But aside from the position of the employees themselves, as civilians, as tax-paying citizens, are we not on board with the effort to reduce government spending? Aren't we all on the same page about the fact that government spending is actually spending our money for resources that we often don't even have access to? I'm just really confused about the conversation. Can somebody enlighten me?
I agree with the whole return to office thing from Trump. Employees get a lot more done in office than at home. 2 of my siblings work from home right now for about 3 to 5 years or so. They do all kinds of stuff when they're not in the office. Go back in the office and work from the office. The only reason why you work from home is because of COVID. That is the only reason. But it is over. C-19 has been over for years now. Go back into the office. Working from home was a privilege, and now that privilege is over. Employees have gotten way too comfortable.
There's a federal hiring freeze. If you had a job offer for a federal government job, it's been rescinded. And on top of that, the current federal employees are expected to return to work on March 10th. No remote options. You have to be in the office 5 days a week. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, the people who made these changes in the workforce are people that should have retired 15 years ago. People who no longer have children, they now have grandchildren and great-grandchildren. People who, when they were themselves entry-level workers, were able to leave their wives at home as stay-at-home wives to take care of the kids while they went into the office 5 days a week. Nowadays, you need 2 people, 2 incomes just to get by. Who's taking care of these kids that they so badly want us to have? That doesn't make sense. And I know that Elon Musk is a huge proponent of working in the office and being collaborative and in person. It's just not the same when you work remotely. Who takes care of his 10 million kids? His 10 million baby mamas? Like, what do they do for work? How do they get into the office 5 days a week with those kids? Because daycare right now is more than a mortgage payment. Like, make it make sense.
President Trump now enforces federal workers to show up to work, and they can no longer work remotely. This is an executive order mandating all federal employees to return to in-person work, effectively ending remote work policies that were once in place under the Biden administration. This order was reported on January 20th and aims to bring all federal workers back to the office full-time. Additionally, Trump is also said to be freezing federal hiring and planning to reduce the number of career federal workers, indicating a significant shift in federal workforce management. This makes perfect sense because why are we paying these guys salary with our taxpayer money for them to sit at home? This is something the Biden administration did not really enforce, and I think this is going to make a big impact on the overall efficiency of our government. I completely understand remote work for certain jobs, but when it comes to representing your country at the highest levels and most important and prolific positions in the world, I think that should be taken very seriously, much more than the ordinary job, because you're protecting and representing our constitutional values.
So let's talk about it. Let's unpack what happened yesterday with, y'all new administration. So the third executive order I think Trump signed was federal employees are going back into the office. Now, we all know this is a revenge tour. We can call a spade a spade. We know what's happening. It's very much giving revenge tour. I'm coming back for everybody who I feel did me wrong. Cool, whatever. Now, it's also very much mimicking the time when, I think, 2016, 2017, when the military thought it was a great idea to let people voluntarily separate, get out, and it almost crashed the population of the military, because they were not expecting so many people to separate at one time. What's going to end up happening, I think what this administration is kind of going, is people mass resigning so that they can get who they want into office. That's what they're wanting to do. Also, I just started a hybrid position. So I've never had an issue going in the office 5 days a week. But I just took a position that's a little bit further commute, but I was okay with it because I only had to do it 2 days a week. The flexibility of work schedules has been a competitive edge for federal service because they cannot compete with private sector. The government has had such a hard time finding valuable candidates to apply for jobs because why, when I can go make more money? But when they start offering flexible schedules, better benefits, all of that, it kind of evened the playing field. Now what's going to end up happening is, like most HR jobs are remote. Y'all already know federal hiring is slow. So imagine how slow it's going to be when the HR people not here to hire. Because they leave. Like, it's not going to have the effect that he thinks it's going to have. Okay? Things are going to crumble before they get rebuilt. And it's going to be bad because federal service is the continuity of the government. Military come and go all the time. But your civil servants are the ones who keeps the government operating all across the board. So when you have mass resignations and all this stuff that they're banking on, because what Elon Musk said is, we're hoping these people resign and we welcome the resignations. How you gonna replace these people if you don't have the people to do the hiring? Like, it's not going to. It's just mind-blowing, the thought process. Also, because of flexible hiring, the government has been able to reduce their spending, because I'm a budget person. They have been able to reduce the spending across bases, across just federal service in general, on real estate. They were paying for all these office spaces that we didn't have money for, but they was able to close a lot of these office spaces because of the option for remote work. You don't even have the office space to bring all these people back. I know for the office that I work in, for the 2 days a week, like, we alternate between people because you don't have the office space. So what you gonna do? So I'm interested to see how this is all gonna play out, how they're gonna roll it out. I'm off today, so I'm not even getting on my computer, but I go into the office tomorrow. I'm interested to see, like, what are we doing here? Also for the hiring freeze. Now that's nothing new. The hiring freeze happens every administration, but I would say if you're still trying to get on in federal service, Department of Defense, if you live near or around a base or any type of military installation, there is no hiring freeze. He already said that. There are other exceptions to organizations. Homeland Security, I'm sure is going to be one of them because immigration and all of that. So if that's up your niche and whatever, you can apply to those. But y'all, it's about to be a mess.
Trump signed an executive order to send federal workers back to work in the office. 100%. They are no longer allowed to work remotely. But here's the commentary that I've been seeing of federal workers across my For You page. Number one, they have questions around telework and if telework falls into that category. Number two, does this also apply to contractors for the federal government? Or is that simply just federal workers directly? In addition to that, the biggest thing is where you want them to go when they go to work. Because apparently a lot of these facilities sold the building and sent their employees to work from home. Additionally, even the places that have building space, the building space is already occupied and they're at max occupancy. Some departments have decided to ensure that their entire department is remote. And so that means that there's no place for them. They say that a lot of these areas like actually mandated for them to work in the office last year. And logistically, it still has not panned out to be successful. Now, if you talk about 2 days a week or something like that, I think they might be able to work that out. But you want all these federal workers to go back to work. Did you ask them people if they got the space for that? And so a lot of people are saying they think it's going to be some pushback from all these different agencies because some of those people sold facilities, like whole buildings. So where these people going to go work? And then in addition to that, now it's kind of like when they have them come to the office, does the city have the infrastructure to support parking, commuting, whether that be in a car or public transportation? And then I know it might not necessarily be the employer's concern about the fact that employees have moved states away and still working. But like if the contract didn't require that they stay within a certain proximity of their employer, then how do you get around that? Do you make them go into a remote office every day? Like, how y'all gonna do this? Are y'all gonna start creating just satellite locations? Donald, babe, did you think this through before you decided to make this an executive order? Because it's giving, I'm just making ish up at this point.
So Trump is trying to get federal workers to go back to work and stop their remote work agreements and their telework agreements. And at the same time has implemented a hiring freeze. So if people are forced to quit because they can't move back for various reasons, they can't afford it because it's really expensive to live in a place like DC, for example, or they're caring for family members and remote work makes it easier because they don't have to commute 2 hours every day each way. And now there's a hiring freeze, so these people might quit, and not because they don't want to work, has nothing to do with them not wanting to work, because a bad employee doesn't work in the office and they don't work at home. A good employee works just as much from home as they do in the office. Okay? I've seen this for myself. So don't believe any of this bullshit where they're saying government workers aren't working from home. Like, it's just not true. But if you're going to force people back to office, but not be able to hire new people, and then you're saying you want to get people back to the office because there's been a degradation of services, hello, logic would dictate that there's going to be an actual degradation of services if you can't hire new people to fill those vacant positions. And really, I think it's because they want to get people, like, to cripple the government. Like, Trump actually wants to cripple the government. Musk wants to cripple the government. Has nothing to do with them caring about American citizens not being able to get services that they need from government employees or federal agencies. Has nothing to do with that. Not to mention, I think apartment building owners and restaurant owners are pissed that government people are working remote because it means they're not getting as much revenue. And really, those restaurants and apartment buildings are owned by huge corporations. It's not very much your mom and pop shops. It's mega chains that are in most cities. So don't believe this propaganda coming from Trump. Like, he doesn't actually care about you.
I heard a story today that I think is worthy of discussion. So I live local to Washington, D.C., which means that when things happen politically, I may or may not be connected just as a local to somebody who works in that area or has been impacted directly by a change, okay? Especially because I work around many federal employees, live around many federal employees, right? So I hear a story today about what basically results in Donald Trump's order that everyone has to return in person to work, which I have my own questions about. We'll just say that. Why? It's not very efficient. It causes more pollution. It wastes more time. It just doesn't really make sense to me, okay? But here's the story. I guess a friend of a friend of a friend worked for the federal government, was under an agreement that was going to keep them employed remotely. Sold their home because it's expensive as hell to live here. Makes total sense. Moved to Florida with their family. Bought a home and everything. And now is being ordered to return to Washington, D.C. to report. Now, what do you do with that? Like, if you're told that your job is going to be remote and you move, you're moving under the pretense that this is okay. Moving is freaking expensive. DC to Florida, a house, probably close to $10,000 to move, okay? If it's done right, anyway. I just can't even imagine. Do they have children in school that are going to have to be unplanted and then replanted, but not in the home they left, probably somewhere else? Like, that's a lot. There is no compassion whatsoever in this administration, even for their own employees. They say a company can be kind of analyzed in morals by how they treat their own employees. And this is what the U.S. government is doing to their employees. And I believe they have 30 days to return from Florida, or at least whatever parent is going to have to separate from the family to come back. That sucks. And I have to say, I was looking at federal positions. I am damn glad I didn't get one. So tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me if there's any information I'm missing. I don't like to miss information. I don't know. I feel bad for people who were just trying to have a better life for their family, live somewhere a little more affordable, and got completely and utterly screwed like this. And, whatever you do, good vibes, juju, whatever, send it to these people, because that sucks. That sucks. And a lot of people have put a lot of time into federal employment. And so leaving is not like an easy option. So, yeah. Just something for you guys to think about, and an update from me, Jolie at Kate Radio and Pets and Politics. Until later, enjoy your day.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.